Good morning, Pomfret. I was 8 years old when I learned that honesty can be a test of courage. It was a warm summer day, and I was running around the neighborhood with my sister. We were playing tag, like we'd done so many times before, and she was chasing me at the time. I thought I'd lost her at one point, so I turned my head around to see where she was. Unfortunately, my young brain didn't comprehend that while I was looking backwards, I was still moving forwards. I had no idea what was in front of me until I crashed head-on into a wooden object. In an instant, I was on the sidewalk, wheezing and gasping for air, while I lay next to a pile of wooden debris. My heart sank when I realized I'd destroyed someone's property. Now, this was 10 years ago, so some of the details are fuzzy. But one thing I remember very well is while I was lying on the ground in pain, my sister ran up to me, tagged me on the top of the head, and said, "You're it." While I appreciated her competitiveness, we still had to do something about the damage. I thought about running home. It would be almost too easy to act like it wasn't us. There weren't any witnesses to what had happened. Why not run away? I didn't recognize the house we were in front of and had never met the owner. Beyond anything, I was frightened about how he or she would react. It took a lot of convincing from my sister, but she finally persuaded me to walk up with her to the front door and ring the bell. An elderly woman named Miss Rapp answered the door. I started to explain what happened, and before I knew it, the story was pouring out of me. I found out years later that the object I destroyed was a handmade, extremely detailed birdhouse that she'd received from a friend. She was visibly upset that it was gone, and I prepared to be scolded. But rather than being angry at me, she was grateful that there were kids in her neighborhood who behaved well and had a sense of integrity. My fear of an angry homeowner almost drove me to run away from doing the right thing. If I look back and wonder what might have happened if I ran home that day, I probably would have gotten away with it. I also never would have gotten to know my neighbor, who would have been wondering what in the hell happened to her precious birdhouse. She was just 30 seconds walking distance from my house. And instead of just being a person whose property I destroyed when I was younger, she became a friendly face who saw me as a kind individual. As the years went by, she continued to be a part of my life. She has a couple of kids and visits them yearly. Whenever she needed to leave town for more than a couple days at a time, she would ask me to keep an eye on the 50-something plants she had in and around her house. While it was a way for me to earn some extra cash, I now see it as something bigger than that. She gave me a key to her house, and it was because she saw me as a trustworthy person. I enjoyed being viewed this way. It made me feel good about myself, and the more time I spent helping Miss Rapp, the more I liked the way she treated me. As a result, I began to conduct myself with more integrity in other areas of my life. I'm not the same innocent-looking 8-year-old boy, but I do still have the knowledge I took home that day. I learned that doing the right thing takes courage, and that living by this principle will make you a better person. My personal courage has been tested many times since I learned this, and while fear still gets the better of me on occasion, I know that I'm slowly becoming better at addressing these challenges. Sometimes, when I'm about to get the feeling that I'd like to run away, I think of Miss Rapp and her handmade birdhouse, and I know the path I should take. Thank you.